Hi everyone, welcome back to another painting demonstration. Today we're going to be painting a watercolour of this yellow fishing boat. Yeah, nice sunny day, painting the sea, seagulls. Okay, we're going to start off with the sky, just a mixture of cobalt blue and cerulean blue. That's my preferred colours for a nice sky. Okay, so I'm just going carefully around the seagulls. I want to leave some of the white wings just showing, and not worrying too much, but just leaving a little bit of white behind, just so later I can paint them in as seagulls, or indicate them as seagulls. Now as I work my way down to the horizon, I'm just adding a little bit of magenta to the mix, just to change it a little bit. Now I'm going to be painting the waves as they're coming in, using cadmium yellow and cerulean blue. I'm just using the side of the brush because you get a nice broken effect and it shows the surf off well, leaving the white of the page for the surf, so I don't have to add any white paint. I'm just using the white of the paper, just carrying my way down to the where the sand will be. Now I'm just blocking in the boat using a wash of cad yellow with a little bit of magenta, just varying that wash in different degrees, not keeping it just one same colour, which then becomes monotonous and boring. So just change your washes around a little bit. Don't just use one flat colour of yellow. Keep it mixed up a little bit. Now just doing the underneath hull. I'm using some burnt sienna and cobalt blue with a touch of magenta, I think. I don't think it's critical. Just carefully drawing the shape with the brush. Work slowly. Adding a little bit of burnt sienna to it here to warm it up a little bit. Just working my way carefully around the bottom of the boat. And now just drawing the colour out with a bit of raw sienna, a bit of burnt umber for the sand. Remember, your colours are always going to dry a lot lighter. Just introduce some blue here because this will be in this is some cerulean blue. This will be in shadow, so I'm just adding some blue here, and this will slowly run down the page and create a nice effect. The wall is a nice sunny wall, so I'm adding some raw sienna with a bit of magenta in places, but I'm not doing it too accurately. I'm just sort of blocking it in, really. I think if it becomes too tight and fiddly, then your painting doesn't look well. I like a nice loose style. I know some people prefer to paint in a very tight photographic style. I prefer my paintings to be more loose and impressionistic. Just adding some cerulean blue to the mix down here and working my way down to the bottom of the page. Just going back into the where the boat's leaning against the wall. Just adding some more shadows in there with mixes of burnt umber, cerulean blue. If you can remember these, they're really useful. We'll come back and check the video out again, and you can pick it up. This is just the land in the distance. I've just slightly dampened the page, and I'm just blocking it in with a bit of cobalt blue and cadmium red. It gives you a grey-blue colour. And just softening the bottom edge now. Just strengthening up the sea a little bit. Just giving another wash over the sea with cobalt blue and cad red. Just this prop for the boat so it doesn't fall over when it comes the other way. Blocking that in. Now this is crucial, this bit. This is the shadow on the boat. A shadow's being cast over the side of the boat. So I'm just using a bit of cadmium yellow, a touch of magenta, and a little bit of cerulean blue to grey it out, and you get a much cooler colour. And as we build up the darks, the light on the boat will become more prominent, because what you have to remember in watercolour is that the darks make the lights. If you don't have any darks in your painting, you won't create any light. If you look at some of the best artists, they all create that illusion of light by placing darks in the right place next to a light. So you've got to have contrast within your picture, within your painting. If you use too weak colours, which you often see in lots of amateur painters or beginners, they don't use enough strength in their colours, then their paintings just don't have any impact. They look weak and washed out. And once you get the ability to use colour that way and strong enough and create the lights and darks, you don't have to be a great artist. You can carry off a good picture, a good painting, just by making sure you can create some lights and darks within the painting. And remember, also when you're doing your darks, it's not black. There's lots of colours in the shadows. Try and look for the colour. Just painting in the shadows on the left hand side of the boat, adding a little bit of cerulean blue, so cad yellow. I was trying to make that sort of sand look wet if I could, and drawing the shadow out from the boat. Just nice. You get that nice. If you're quick with a brush like that, you get a nice broken edge, and it looks like you've done it confidently, which then makes the painting look more professional. Sometimes. Just adding a little bit of cooler colour to the underside of the boat. That was just a little bit of cerulean blue. I use a lot of cerulean blue. I find it a really useful colour. It's great for skies, it's great for adding to mixes. It's a cool blue and you can do a lot with it. It's a good colour. Right, just painting in the windows with a little bit of what is that? That's cobalt blue and a little bit of cadmium red with a little bit of raw sienna to grey it out slightly. Just go back in as it's still wet, just to make it look a bit darker at the top. Obviously the side windows just indicate those in a little bit. Again, I'm not actually painting windows, I'm just dropping in lines. If you start thinking, that's a window, I've got to paint a window, then it becomes more difficult. But if you just think, it's a shape, I've got to paint that shape, it's easier. Well, I think so. Now as we start putting these darks in, it will make the lights in the painting become more prominent. And remember, I'm not using black, I'm just using mixes of burnt umber, burnt sienna, cobalt blue, ultramarine, cerulean blue in my shadows to make them more lively and interesting to look at. Just putting in some shadows under the lip of the cabin. Just a bit of cobalt blue and cad red. These are the buoys, just painting those in with a mix of magenta and cadmium yellow. So really in this painting, again, like most of my paintings, I haven't actually used that many colours, maybe 5 or 6 different colours. And if you don't use too many colours, if you keep your colour palette limited, you get a more harmonious looking painting. You don't get something that looks, if you've introduced lots of different colours to the painting, then obviously it works for some people because they've thought it out and they know exactly what they're doing. But as a rule, if you keep the palette limited, I think you end up with a painting, personally I think you end up with a painting that is more unified and tied in. You can see all these paintings, what I'll be doing is scanning them and then putting them on my website, which is www.purewatercolour.com. It's a new site, so I'm in the process of getting stuff on there. but all these paintings will be scanned in and they'll be on a gallery page, so you can have a better look at them as you. But like all these things take time to do, don't they? Just going back in, putting a little bit more shadow under there to make it sit back a little bit. Just using a rigger. Remember, we talk about that every time I do a painting. The rigger, very useful brush. You really should have one. Great for doing fine lines, rigging, branches of trees, twigs, outlining shapes. Just go back to the surf there, adding a little bit more colour. It's not essential, but I'm just fiddling. This is adding a little bit more blue to the sea, cobalt blue and cad red, just to I don't know, I felt it was a bit lacking there. So, and this sort of defines the top of that wave better as well if it's a stronger colour. But it doesn't want to be one big block of colour. Just break it up using, dry brush and to try and create the movement of the sea. Just as you do one part of the painting, then you often notice another part of the painting needs doing. You work your way around. I don't work on one piece, one part of the painting, and then say that's done. I move right around the entire painting until the end, and I find that personally, for me, that works better, and you get a more balanced. Or I get a more balanced painting. Just putting the black on the end of the seagull wings, the big black back seagulls, just on the tips of their wings. And again, they're just an impression. They're not well painted in, or they were just white paper left behind. And a little bit of shadow now is going to go on the insides of their wings. Just to give them a bit more definition. But like I say, it was just white paper left behind. So if you plan from the beginning, you can always, at the end, you add a little bit of movement maybe to your painting. Okay, we're nearly done. This is kind of a close-up look at the painting now. Always looks a bit messy. I've got to put the numbering in on the boat yet. But you can see how the washes are built up and the different textures of, the way I've sort of done the detail on the sea there. Very simple. And there we go from a distance, and when framed and mounted, I think it'll look good. Well, thanks ever so much for spending time watching this video demonstration. Please check out my website, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and share it as well if you wouldn't mind. That'd be great, really helpful. Thanks again. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.